Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Keto Crafty Mom, and I know it's been a while. I bet you thought I'd fallen off, I wasn't gonna do keto anymore, or I don't know what you've been thinking, but I'm still here, I'm still keto. I had a little bit of a run that was where I was on the wagon, off the wagon, on the wagon, off the wagon, so I really wasn't on my YouTube game. If you follow me over on Instagram, you know that I've still been keto. I have recently been counting total carbs. Being keto for so long and counting net carbs, it was just starting to get a little too lax for me. I was starting to snack a little too much, and little by little, the scale was going up. So I decided that I needed to change up things a little bit. I decided to start counting total carbs, and that's when I came across this wonderful recipe for this keto Wonder Bread. It's floating all over Instagram, it's floating all over YouTube. The original recipe was done by Maria Emmerich. This is the way that I've been making it now for probably a couple of months. The kids like it, we like it. It works great as a bread replacement for sandwiches, French toast, garlic bread, you name it, you can pretty much make it into whatever bread item you miss the most doing keto. So let's get started. Okay, let's get started with the ingredients. The first thing you're going to need is egg whites. You can separate eggs and use those egg whites and save your yolks for another recipe, or you can buy the carton of egg whites at the store. I buy these from Costco because they come in a big pack, and then I can just keep making bread. I always have them on hand. The key here is to let your egg whites come to room temperature, or as close to room temperature as you can stand to wait. If you don't let your egg whites come to room temp and you make the bread and they're really cold, your bread does not rise as much. I have done that before and it's still fine, it's still edible, but if you really want the bread to rise, you want to let your egg whites come to room temperature. If you prefer to butter your pans with butter, you could do oil, you could do coconut oil, but I use butter. You will need some allulose sweetener. This is a combined mix of erythritol, allulose, and monk fruit, but it does have allulose in it, and that's what gives it that brown crust. So another option to use is the liquid bottle of allulose. I think it's made by Wholesome Yum. That's usually what I use when I'm out, and so I've been using this, and it works just as well. You need some cream of tartar. You will need some baking powder. And then the star of the show is the egg white protein. So typically I've been using the J-Rob brand. This is vanilla because you can do flavored and fancy it up, make different flavors of bread, but I ran out of the plain one, so I did order this one on Amazon. It's just egg white protein, nothing else. That's what it's called, and I think it was about $14 on Amazon. So it was definitely more cost effective, but it's a much smaller bag. This is 8 ounces. The J-Rob is 24 ounces. So I will continue to order the J-Rob because I make it so much. I'm afraid this is only gonna last me for like maybe 2 loaves. And then for this recipe, I usually do 2 smaller loaves. I have a large loaf pan that I also use sometimes, but I have found that the slices are really large, and these smaller ones, they just work better for our family. So I will do 2 loaves with this recipe versus 1 large loaf. Okay, let's get started. So first you want to make sure that you've preheated your oven to 325. So I have my oven already preheated. And the first thing you're going to do is beat your egg whites. Now, y'all know I have this mixer that Johnny bought me for Christmas. So this is a game changer, makes it very simple, but you don't have to have it. You can use a hand mixer, but just know that these need to mix for about 10 minutes. So if you already know ahead of time that you're going to be mixing for a while, then a hand mixer will do just fine. But this is simple because I'll turn it on, I'll just set a timer on my watch for 10 minutes and let them do their thing. They will become very, very stiff, and I'll show you that when they're done. But let me go ahead and get my timer set for 10 minutes, and I'll start this, and then I'll butter my pans while these are mixing. Okay, so it has not quite been 10 minutes, it's more like 8, but this is how stiff these egg whites come. I can literally turn it over and they don't move. So, go ahead and put that back in there, and we will start to add the rest of our ingredients. I'm not using the vanilla protein powder, so I'm gonna set that aside. You're going to do 1 cup of the egg white protein powder. Okay, so we have 1 cup of the egg white protein powder. Going to go ahead and add that in. Then we are going to do a 1/4 cup of the allulose sweetener. And it does not make the bread taste sweet. Again, it just gives it that brown crust. Okay, we're going to do 1 teaspoon of the cream of tartar. And then 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And then once you add all your ingredients, you don't want to overmix. So I usually put it on stir, let it mix up a little bit, and then I'll scrape the sides, make sure all of the powder is incorporated before we pour it into the pan. Okay, so now I'll scrape off the excess, scrape the sides real good. And then I've noticed in my bowls, sometimes some of it goes down to the bottom. So I will scrape around down there and just kind of fold it all in. This does come out really big once all of your egg whites are really mixed. So that's also why I have started doing it in 2 smaller pans, because it is a little easier to work with versus 1 huge one. All right, so we are going to put this in the pans, and you really want to smooth it out because these egg whites are so stiff, they will leave holes, and so you want to kind of push it down and make sure that you don't have a lot of holes in them. Just kind of smooth it out. Okay, got my oven preheated to 325, and we're going to put this bread in for 45 minutes. Okay, my timer went off, so let me show you guys what it looks like. Before I forget, I'm going to turn my oven off. I'm going to show you what it looks like. See there, nice and brown, nice and high, and I'm going to just close it. Okay, let me show you the trick of cutting this. Flipping it over, because the top comes out very uneven and wrinkly. So I flip it over, get my bread knife, and then I slice it up. And I usually get about 12 to 14 slices per loaf, depending on how thin you cut it. You should let it cool completely, but I like to cut it up when it's warm and then put butter on it, and the girls love to eat it that way. All right, there it is. So your pieces might be a little small, they might be a little odd shaped, but I promise you they're delicious and they will serve the purpose as a bun, sandwich bread, whatever your little heart desires. There you have it. It's so delicious. Toasted with butter is my favorite way to eat it. But I toss it in a bag, keep it there throughout the week, and just use as needed. It lasts about a week in the fridge, but it never lasts that long in my house, so I can't tell you an exact amount of time. All right, there you have it, the famous bread recipe that I've been sharing all over my Instagram. So don't forget, if you're not following me there, go follow me at Keto Crafty Mom, and like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. That would really mean a lot to me. I would really appreciate it. And then comment down below if you make it, or let me know how you're doing on your weight loss journey. I'll be back in the YouTube game. I'll be posting more here, so stay tuned for more videos. Please feel free to share this video on any social media or with your friends. Thanks for watching, y'all.